And we're rolling.
Is that the intro?
Right. Hello and welcome back. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the new Mise-En-Sesh podcast. My name is George. His name is Elliot. And just you can watch us sit and talk for however long this video is. But yeah. Hello. It's been a couple of weeks. We didn't film one last week, so we're very busy. But yeah.
Yeah, well, someone got busy actually making films and shit, didn't you? So
yeah, my
selfish. you delayed the podcast so you could go and work on real film sets.
I do apologise. I mean,
despicable.
Yeah, my work suddenly picked up in the last few weeks. It's been great because I've been working, but also it's exhausting because I've been working. It's one of those horrible situations where I'm complaining because I've got work. It's like, yeah, it's an interesting one, but
as long as you complain to the right people about
exactly,
like you don't message your friend who hasn't worked for 3 months, being like, "Oh, I've got so much work," and he just sat there on his 9th video call with the Universal Credit people, and you're like, "Oh, I've got so much."
Oh
work.
no, damn it! No, so I was chatting to you about this briefly before. So the real turning point for me was I joined something called a diary service, which back in the day was, the way it was explained to me is sort of in the 70s and 80s when answering machines weren't a thing and you didn't have a cell phone. People would call, obviously, if you were out on a job and someone called you and you missed that call, you missed out on work. So what you would do is you'd sign up to a diary service and you'd pay a monthly fee, but then someone would call up the diary service going, we're looking for someone that fits this role, whether it's a camera operator, a camera assistant, camera trainee, director, whatever it is. They call up looking for someone, and then the diary service, who has a log of what your diary looks like, will go, oh, well, this person is available on this date, and all of a sudden you'd come home, get a phone call of like, right, you're working this date. So they'd log your diary to where they got their name. But as obviously people now have answering machines or mobile phones or emails, it's very easy to reach someone now. Diary services more just sort of drifted towards you have the same things, you pay a subscription, they keep a log of your diary, but then they've more made a push of people will call them up saying, I want someone who fits this role, and they'll put you forward for those roles. So I'm a camera trainee, and essentially people call up and say, I need a camera trainee, and they put my name forward, they send them my CV and go, this guy's good, this guy's done this, he's done that. And then they contact me and go, right, we want to pay you £1 million. And then it goes from there.
£1 million
pounds. Yeah, I wish it was that. But I really didn't appreciate how useful one of these things was, because it's not something you're really told about. It's something I found out about. Because when I mentioned it to you before, you'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
And it isn't something which is heavily advertised unless you know the right people. I found out about it because I worked with someone who kept mentioning their diary service. I was like, what? Why do you keep getting work through someone who logs your diary? That doesn't make sense. So I looked into it, and yeah, it opened a whole new world for me. But one thing that was recommended to me was, before you can so you obviously pay that monthly subscription, and if you can't afford that, I was told, go onto the diary services, go on to someone. So as a camera trainee, I was recommended go to someone like a camera assistant, a focus puller, or maybe even a DOP, director of photography. Go to them, get their emails, and send them an email saying, hi, my name is such and such. This is what I do for work. This is what I've worked on. I'd love to come and, if you've got an opening, come and work with you on this, or if you're looking to bring someone on board, do X, Y, Z. Essentially, just cold call, but via emails. Yeah, and that's what was recommended to me. And I tried it, and I sent probably about 20 to 30 emails, and I got one back which said, "Hi, thanks for getting in touch. I'll keep you on record." And then I never heard anything. So it didn't work for me. But I joined this diary service at this literally 1st of September. I was put on the diary service. So I've been on it now for just under a month. So what day are we on now? We're on Monday now. Oh, well, Thursday when this goes out, but Monday right now on Friday, I want to say, or was it Thursday? It was Thursday or Friday last week. I got an email, and it was, "Hi, my name is such and such. I found your email on this diary service. I am a camera trainee looking for work. I'd love if you could bring me on a project with you." And I'm just reading this like, this is pretty much exactly what I sent out. Like, what the hell is happening? And it is that thing of like, I knew that people on the diary service as camera trainees were at the same level I was, pretty much. Like, they might be slightly more experienced, but you're at the same level in terms of you don't really get to say when it comes to who comes on set. You tend to be the last person in the camera department brought on board, because you are brought on because either they need an extra pair of hands, or they have the budget where they can bring on a trainee, and they're like, we'll bring someone on board, we've got that money to cover that. But 9 times out of 10 it's because they need an extra pair of hands, and it's cheaper than bringing on another proper camera assistant. So I knew not to contact trainees. But this other trainee contacted me and went, "Yeah, I can see you've worked on some really cool stuff. You've done this, you've done that. I'd love if you've got any jobs coming up for you to bring me on board." And I just fired one back saying, "I really appreciate you reaching out to me, but as a trainee, I don't have a say who comes on." He'd asked if I wanted to meet up for coffee or whatever. And I mean, if you're still interested, I'll meet up for coffee. I'm not opposed to that. We can just talk or whatever. And it was just one of those things of like, it's really weird because I did that and it never worked for me. But the fact that I've responded to this guy, that might have been that one person who responded to me. And it is like, they've probably just looked at that and gone, "Okay, whatever, I'll send an email. Can't really offer any work, but I'll give some feedback." And it's a really bizarre thing, just because of how, like, that was me like 2 months ago, sending out those weird emails being like, "Hey, I do this, please love me." It's just it was a weird turn of events. Like, yeah, I just thought it was a cool little story. Like,
well, I suppose it shows how fine the line is between like in and out of the sphere of work is.
But what was weird is his CV.
It's an email away.
No, that's very true. It is literally, you get one lucky email, that's it. But I looked at his CV and I went back and said, "You see, you've got some really impressive credits." He had loads on his CV. He had like more than I do. And I'm like, why are you coming to me for work? How the hell's that happened? But I have had a couple of people, like mainly runners trying to break into the industry, just sort of say to me like, "Hey, if you've got any work coming up, could you let me know?" And again, I've just gone back saying, "Really sorry, I'm literally like one rung above you here. Like, I've done my time as a runner, but I'm still not there where I can bring you on board. I can recommend you, but I can't guarantee anything."
Well, it's nice that you stayed humble.
Yeah, well, that's another point I wanted to address, actually, is I don't know, because obviously we've taken different approaches when it comes to this industry. But from my experience, you can really tell who has come up the long way in the industry, like who has worked their arse off to get to where they are, and who had like a lucky break and they sort of progressed very, very quickly. Because there have been a few people who I've worked with, I'm not going to name any names, but a few people I've worked with where they just don't treat runners with a lot of respect. And this is going back like right to the start of my career as well. They just look down on you, and like I literally had people like shout at me and scream at me because I didn't do something. And it's not, I was being an idiot. I had no idea. I was so new to the industry.
Yeah, like
I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. I didn't have anyone to teach me. It was literally you're thrown in the deep end. You learn, and if you can't do it, you get like they get rid of you, which unfortunately did happen to me at one point. But I don't understand why some people just look at runners or in some instances like camera trainees or just the lower tiers when it comes to different departments. They look at them and go, yeah, screw it. If I shout at you, it's going to make me feel a bit better. But I don't really give a damn what you feel. It's just like, yeah, like you say, I've worked to get where I am now. So I've got a long way to go, but I know not to turn around and go, "Oh, you over there, do this for me," or else. Like, no. One, I don't have that power. Even if I do, I don't want to treat someone as if they're nothing.
well, yeah, because you've been there. It's one of those things. Like I think it's the same in almost any like industry, like film or retail or anything. Like you can always tell people who've gone up through, they've climbed the ladder, and there's people who've had like a step up. Like you can always, there's a big divide between the grunt work and what people see as like the more important stuff. I don't really have a further point to that, to be honest. I'm just sort of agreeing with you, but
no, that's fair. I mean, yeah, it's literally just some people should not be in that position where they are if they can't respect those around them. Like if you can look at someone who is lower down than you for many different reasons, mainly because they're like literally half of your age, they're just getting into the industry you've been working in since they were in like nappies. If you can't give them respect, you shouldn't be where you are. It's a thing of you're abusing your power. Like
yeah, it's that, and also like with film especially, like it's a team sport.
Yes, so
like if one person does well, everyone sort of does well in that regard. But then it's like when there's one player on a football team who's better than the rest, who turns into a diva. It's sort of a similar thing to that. Like when you think you're above the people you're working with. I think that's a good. When you lose track of who's working with you and who's working for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You start to think you're above. You start to think like just because there might be like a few stations above you, they start to think you're working for them, and really you're just working together, doing different jobs for the same common purpose.
Yeah, like I've definitely found. So I mainly work on like commercial work now, just because that's where a lot of the work is at the minute. But the most hierarchical sort of sets I've been on have definitely been the bigger budget ones, like proper like feature films. And I don't know if that's just I've been. I don't want to say unlucky enough, but I've witnessed those. Because I'm sure there are so many film sets where you go onto them and the director can just go and say to the runner, "Are you all right? Like, do you want me to get you something?" Like, there are probably film sets like that where the director sees the runner as an equal. But
well, I suppose when you talk about the higher budget ones, obviously I know what you're talking about, because I know what you've done. But like when it's a higher budget thing, I think at those levels it's much more highly strung, because every minute, every hour that something isn't getting done perfectly, it's like they're burning money. So people it's very cutthroat, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
From people who are in positions of power and people who just have to do the work.
Yeah.
And whereas if you think, let's say if we went on a shoot and it was like it was like a sub £10,000 budget shoot, and it's a very flat sort of hierarchy sort of scheme, whereas in the higher budget ones, I can imagine it's very much like a pyramid of screaming. Like the director screams at these two people, and these two people scream at those two people. And like it's just trickles down.
There's a saying which has been thrown around a lot in my time on sets, which is shit rolls downhill. So like the top dog shouts at their lackeys, who then shout at their lackeys, who shout at their lackeys, and it all runs down to the people who are right at the bottom.
It all snowballs
Yeah.
up, and yeah.
So it is that thing of, yeah, there's a lot of money being lost if you run over or if something's not working. There is a lot of money at stake, but also that's something you're aware of going into it. Like, no film set I've ever been on has run that smoothly to the point it goes boom, 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 right, we're done. It's never done that.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about this on the last season, and I don't know what episode it was, but it's like the majority when you're like in charge of a film set, it's one thing you have to write the film, plan the shoot, and go through the scripts, go through the actors, and plan the shots, whatever. But the majority of the actual work that you do on the day, it's problem solving.
Oh yeah.
Like, so, I've forgotten how I got onto that point, but yeah, like no film shoot goes perfectly. I think if something went perfectly, something's probably been missed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, the majority of the work that you do on a film set is problem solving. This light isn't working for this thing. This lens doesn't look right. This cable doesn't work. Just like stuff like that. It's busy work, but that's
I do agree with what you're saying. Definitely, it's like it's never gonna run smoothly but there is someone who is there to make it run smoothly. Like, there's literally, so on a set, it's not the director who is saying this is what needs to happen, this is what needs to happen. Like, they'll say it, but it's the first assistant director who will announce it, who will tell everyone this is what you need to do, and they will control things and keep the pace going. And then they've got their second assistants or third assistant directors who then help them and divvy out their tasks. So it isn't a thing of like the director comes in and they boss everyone around and then they get their job done and then they go home. It's they come in, they've got their assistant director, they talk to the assistant then talks to all the different departments, and then everything runs smoothly. But I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was like an interview like Stephen Amell or something, like the actor. And he was saying he was on a set for a TV show that he's working on. And he went up to the assistant director towards the end of principal photography. And he was just saying, I have never seen you like doing anything, but I've also never seen anything go wrong, to a drastic level. And the AD turns around and goes, yeah, because I'm good at what I do. Like, I anticipate things which are about to happen. And if you don't see me doing something, it's probably because you've caught me in those 5 minutes of that day where I've gone out to take a breather before I go and deal with the hundreds of other fires I need to put out. And it is that thing of, yeah, someone is there on set to make sure things run smoothly. 9 times out of 10, from my experience, that has been one of the multiple tiers of assistant directors. But then going back to the original point, regardless of how much money there is, regardless of how good your AD is, if you're treating someone like absolute crap, regardless of what level or tier they are on that pyramid, you should not be in that position, because that is, you might feel a little big and strong, but you're getting paid millions to be there. That runner is getting paid minimum wage, maybe, to be there. They're trying to break into the industry, and you're not giving them a great impression, because the first big feature I was on didn't leave a great taste in my mouth, I'll be honest. But because I love being in this industry so much, I went back and I've had better experiences since then. But it is that thing of like, you really can't just sort of say it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that, because no 2 days, no 2 shoots are the same. Well, that doesn't mean it's not going to leave an impression on someone, because like, most exciting thing I've ever worked on really made me feel like crap a lot of the time. Like, it's very, So when I tell
Yes.
stories, I always tell the good bits. I tend to leave out a lot of the crap that comes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've just waffled quite a lot here.
You just you've been holding that in for a while, haven't
Well,
you? You okay? Can you breathe now?
that's the thing. Like when things, I've said for a while now. Once trailers are released, I will talk about things, and I'll say this is what I've worked on. These are experiences I've had. Like I will never bring names into when I'm telling bad stories. I won't bring names into it.
Oh yeah,
It's just
good
yeah,
practice.
unprofessional.
It's courteous and it's good practice and
But it's
it's safe
yeah,
for you.
but it's like I can't wait to say I worked on this. This is the experience I had. But also, my God, I could write a book about everything that went wrong on like 2 different things, and it'd be like longer than the entire Lord of the Rings series.
And it just so happens you have, and it's available now on the Mise-En-Sesh
Boom! Link in bio.
$3.99.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway,
So
rant
obviously
over.
you're working freelance
Mm.
now, and obviously you mentioned diary service. Now I've obviously I've not got experience as freelance because I don't work freelance. I don't really work in the film industry. I work in marketing and sales at this point. But in the conversations that I've had with people about potentially going into freelance, a common thing that pops up is like I tried Mandy,
Yeah.
and like you had to pay a subscription there to see all these jobs and stuff. So when you first said diary service to me, I was like, oh no, like because I tried that. It was like you pay 20 something. My membership was like 20 something per month, and it just gives you access to all these jobs, and then you can apply to them and not hear anything back, but you're paying money. So when I started thinking diary service, I thought, is it one of those types of things?
Yeah.
So if you're talking to someone now, like a graduate, a recent graduate, or just someone who wants to get into it, like who wants to work freelance, knowing what you know now with a smidge under 2 years of work under your belt, like if you could go back and tell you 2 years ago what path to take, would you say go straight to a diary service, or would you say like
No.
try and build a little bit first and then go in?
I would definitely not say go for a diary service because I would have cornered myself. The reason why I felt confident enough to go with the diary service is because I had a year and a bit under my belt of being on set, of being a runner, of having worked with cameras.
You had like something to
Yeah.
offer.
So like I said, I joined in September, and source that. Yeah, I've been on the diary service now for 27 days at the time of recording. There were just under 2 years, no, over 2 years from me having my first job in the industry to me joining the diary service. Because I got my first job in the June of 2019, and then I joined the diary service in September of 2021. That's over 2 years. In that time, I learned the basic, the setiquette, which is like etiquette on set, of like if you happen to work with a celebrity or a personality, you don't go up and ask them loads of questions. You don't go up and take a photo. You don't take selfies. You don't take like sneaky pictures of them. You be professional. Like then there's just the other stuff of actually having the confidence and knowing who to talk to, when to avoid talking, all that. Then it's the thing of knowing. Like I learned very, very quickly, just because I like to be somewhere early. I don't like turning up late. I don't like risking that. So I always aim to turn up 15, 20 minutes early. Doing that will mean that you are there in case anything goes wrong at the beginning of the day. And then if you are there to help out, people will go, oh, yeah, you're that guy who helped me out this morning, aren't you? Oh, yeah. And then they will remember your name, you'll stick in their mind. So being there ahead of time to help fight fires, even though that might not happen, it just means you get to sit and chill for 20 minutes. Yeah, it's like the little things like that of just knowing how to be on set, knowing how to act with people, knowing who to talk to and who to not talk to. Like, it sounds very simple, but I have heard horror stories of like producers who are normally they're normally in the office and they're normally doing all the paperwork for shoots. They go on set and they're like, oh, that's such and such. I know that celebrity. And then they're over there taking selfies with the celebrity in the background, like it. Regardless of what position you are, if you don't have that experience, you're not going to know, because it's not just something that you're told. Like, it should be common sense. For a lot of people, they just don't think about it, and that's not because they're trying to be annoying. It's because they just don't know that it's not acceptable, kind of thing.
It's one of those things, like, if a celebrity's on set, they're there to work.
Yeah, exactly. You're all there to do a job.
It's like, you're all there to work. You're not there. It's not like a public. You spotted them in public, and it's a personal time. Like, in public, I still think it's a bit, obnoxious to go up and ask them to put in and be like, "Give me a selfie." But especially on a set, they're there to work. You're there to work. Like,
I think I've covered this before, but it's definitely since being on sets and having interacted with celebrities. If I ever bump into someone in the street now, I don't immediately go for my phone. I just want to go up, say, maybe not shake their hand, but just say hi. I really appreciate your work. Love what you're doing. Keep it up. Have a nice day. Like, if I happen to bump into them in like a coffee shop, I mean, to
talk to them like a human.
Don't whip out your phone and go, "Huh, look." Like, I was going to say, in like a coffee shop or something, like, can I buy you a coffee? I feel like they probably don't need me to buy them a coffee, but it's like the offer of like, I'd like to give something back to you because you've given so much to me. But just to go back to your very original point of like, what would I tell myself, and would I have joined the service? No, I'm glad I've joined when I have, because I did my research. I looked into it. Like I said, I had over 2 years of just knowledge and experience and mess ups and failures to look back on and go, right, don't do that again. Learn from that, change that, take that. That was good, right? Okay, adapt that. But it's one of those things where when I signed on, I wasn't exactly drowning in money. I didn't have solid work coming in all the time. But I pay a little under £100 a month to be on this service. Which sounds like a lot. If you're not making a lot of money, like £100 sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah. Yes. So if you just brand new trying to get started in freelance, starting by losing money,
it doesn't sound right. But within 2 days of having been on the service, so on the first day, on September the 1st, I got a job offer which I had to turn down because I was on another project, thankfully. Then on the second day, I got another job offer, and they were like, "Hey, we're doing this on this date. Are you free?" Happened to be a day where I was free. I was like, "Yeah, sure." That one day paid back that money I'd paid to the diary service and then some.
Yeah.
So I made my money back in one job. And it is that.
So if you've got like the credits and sort of, I suppose, the leverage is probably the word I'd use. If you've got the leverage to be able to be on there and look like an attractive prospect for someone to reach out to work, it's worth paying the money. But if you're just starting out and you're saying, "Look, I'm here to work," it's probably not going to be as good of an option for you then, is it? Because you don't have as much to offer.
Yeah.
And you're paying to not offer people much, because they're going to go to people like you who've already got years of experience. That's probably the reason. Like, obviously, because people who use that service to find workers, they're paying as well. So I suppose they're paying their premium to have access to higher quality, more experience.
To be fair, to actually look on diary services, or at least my one, you don't have to pay anything. Like, you could literally Google my diary service, look in camera trainees and see my name, see my CV, see what I've worked on.
All right.
So it's like you pay to essentially be advertised on there. It's not like you pay for IMDb Plus or whatever it is, like the premium subscription where you can see the agencies that all these people work for and all that. Like you don't have to do that. So I pay to be listed on their website, and then if I post anything and tag them in it, so like a shoot that I'm on that they've got me, they'll repost me on like Instagram or something. So they'll get my name out there.
Okay. Yeah.
So
it's a little bit like having an agent, I suppose, isn't
it? So an agent, the way it was explained to me, right, let me preface this by saying there are, I think it's like 5 big ones, but there are loads of diary services, and they all specialize in different things. So the one I'm with specializes in more directors, DOPs, and then like the trickle of camera. So you've got focus puller, first AC, clapper loader, second AC, camera trainee, and the one I'm with specializes in that. You've then got other ones where they specialize in more like assistant directors, runners, production runners, like production managers, art directors. Like they all specialize in different things. So there's no point Googling one and going, first one I see, cool, let's go with that. Do your research depending on which one you want to join. I forgot what I was saying. There was a whole train of thought and I've totally lost it now. But yeah, essentially, don't just look at it and go, the diary service is going to get me work. Sick. Because you have to have that work before you even join them. Like,
yeah,
I had to have a phone call with the diary service, explain what it is I've worked on, what it is I've done before they even considered bringing me on. Before they said any paperwork, before me paying any money, they had to say, all right, we're happy to have you.
Make sure you've got the credentials to be...
It's kind of like, so there's a similar-esque thing. It's called talent manager. I think we might have discussed this before, where you have to have at least 3 credits to your name in order to have an account on here to advertise yourself. And when I first joined, I may have told a white lie and split one job into 2. But by doing that, that opened me up to a lot of other jobs. Now, looking back on it, I genuinely don't think I got any work from Talent Manager because I deep down knew that's not where I wanted to be. So I wasn't actively going for it. But then with this diary service, I am on top of my CV, making sure I'm updating it whenever I can with whatever I'm doing, and then literally like in a couple of days I'm going to send a new CV to the service and go, right, this is my updated one for this month, here you go. So it is a thing. If you've got to be really on top of yourself, you've got to be the one who's saying, this is what I've done, this is what I want to advertise to people, showing this is what I can do. Because on my CV I've got one which I would send to people who aren't in the industry, which is your default one. If you've got all of your work down one side, you've got a bit about me, my education, my references, my contact info, and my name at the top. So that's what I would send to someone like my mum, kind of thing. But then I've got one which I have on the diary service, and I send to people in the industry, which is very much formatted purely for camera. I've got something in my throat, it's really annoying me. So it is that thing of you need to know how to format your CV, you need to know how things need to look in order for people to take it seriously.
So it's not like it's a diary service, it doesn't do the work. You still have to do the work and present the CV and present yourself. Yes. It's just the diary service sort of just, I take it sort of gets your CV in front of the right people.
Yeah.
So if someone's looking to try and find work, it's important for them to realise that it's not like you pay £100 a month and then you're going to get offers coming in left, right, and centre. You still have to do just the same amount, if not more, work advertising yourself. But the diary service makes sure that you get shown to the right people. Is that
yeah. So that's a really good way of putting it. So how it happens is the example I'll use is last week. I had nothing lined up for the week. It got to Sunday and I had nothing. absolutely nothing. Totally open week, totally open just month. I had nothing planned. Roll around Monday, and I got an email saying, "Hey, we've got this thing coming up. It's for a month long, starting from next Monday. Would you be interested?" Back and forth, and that's what I'm currently working on. So that was great. So that was like 10, 11 a.m. Got to about 3, 4 a.m. and I'd sent an email just sort of saying, "Hey, I just want to update some info on your end, like updating my email and that." And then I get a call just saying, "Hey, right, got your email, cool, all that." I've just had 2 jobs come across my desk. So essentially, one of them is what I was doing Wednesday through Friday, and that was camera trainee on a corporate shoot. So it's for a business to be shown within the business. And that was a lot of fun because that was something I haven't really done before. But it's a nice way to really familiarize yourself with everything. Like especially as a trainee where I'm not totally experienced, but I know enough to know what I'm talking about, kind of thing. But then this other job was one for the Tuesday, so literally the next day. And it was one of the focus pullers on the diary service had called up going, "Hey, I need a second AC." Oh, where have you gone?
Yeah, my camera's just run out of juice, I think.
Oh no.
I've been watching the little light flash at me for about
Oh.
10 minutes. I thought it just had enough to see us through.
No, right. Well, I'll wrap this up quickly then. But it was pretty much so this focus puller called up going, "Hey, I need a second AC. I need a clapper loader." And then the diary service went, "Right, well, we actually don't have any available. They're all out on other shoots." And the guy went, "Okay, well, do you have a trainee you can recommend?" And they put me forward. And the guy, I don't know if it was a thing of he saw my CV or they just gave my email or whatever, but they went, "Do you want me to put you forwards for it? Like it would be a bit of a step up. Obviously, the pay is slightly better, but there's a lot more pressure which comes with that work." I went, "Yeah, sure," thinking I was very prepared for it. They rolled around. The guy's absolutely lovely. He's well aware that I am a trainee and not a second AC. But that job really showed me I am not ready. Like I am a camera trainee, and I have jobs where I have worked as a clapper loader, so as a second AC. But there is a reason why there's no time frame when it comes to progressing in this industry. Like you progress when you are ready, especially personally for me, especially going from trainee to second AC, because I was very much out of my depth. Like this guy was so patient with me because he knew I wasn't that experienced. Right at the top of the day, right at the start of the day, he just went, "Right, don't lie to me. Just if you don't know something, tell me and I will walk you through it. I will explain. I'd rather you just admit you don't know it rather than make us both look like idiots down the line." And
that's how progress is made, isn't it?
Exactly. And he just went, like, at the end of the day, he was like, "Look, you did really, really well. Obviously, you still have a lot to learn, but that's to be expected in the position you're in." And like he said, if he's got work come up, he'll let me know. So it is that thing of I made a good enough impression to entertain the idea of working with him again. But it is again going back to that thing of I'm not ready to move up yet, but hopefully in like a year or something I might be. I might have enough under my belt where I can go, right, I've done this for a while now, I want to progress, and then I just contact my diary service and go, "Right, put me up a level." I'll probably have to pay a bit more a month, but yeah. Anyway, right, I have talked about me an awful lot in this episode. I can't even see you anymore, so I can't see how emotional my story was for you. But yeah, thank you to our viewers. I have been George. He has been Elliot, and yeah. Thanks for watching.
I was Elliot, and now I'm just the void.
You're the void on the screen.
Actually, no, I'm empty space. In the edit, I can be whatever I want to be in this space.
I'm expecting like photos from childhood up to present day. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. This has been a lot of fun, and hopefully we will see you next time.